Now let's look at Unit 3, Blue Jeans. I'm going to read the text. Please read along with me in your minds. Okay? Now let's do tenses. We are on page 63, Introduction to Tenses. Read the following sentence. We are going to the workshop. The verb are going indicates that the action is taking place right now. The time of the action is in the present. Now read the following sentence. We went to the workshop yesterday. The verb went indicates that the action took place earlier. Here it happened on the previous day. In other words, the time of the action is in the past. Now go through this sentence. We will go to the workshop tomorrow. Will go indicates that the time of this action is in the future. Tense refers to the form of the verb which indicates the time of action. There are three kinds of tenses: the present, the past, and the future. Task 6. Identify whether the underlined verbs are in the present, the past, or the future. Please remember, we are just looking at the tenses now, not about the time. Okay, we're not looking at the time, just look at the tense. I'm telling you this because different tenses are used for different times. Okay, we will see that in the coming pages, right? For now, just write down what tense these sentences are in. Okay? Please pause the video and do the exercise, and then we will discuss. Number 1. The earth goes around the sun. Present tense. 2. We went to Agra yesterday. Past. 3. I will become a pilot. Future. 4. I wrote a letter to Saira last week. Past. Shikha. Number 5. Shikha visits the library frequently. Present. Please remember, these are just the tenses. Alright? Now let's move to present tense. This table gives the various forms of present tense, their uses and examples. Okay? Simple present. In simple present, the verb is in the base form. For example, children play in the park. If the subject is he, she, or it, s or es is added. For example, Sita plays in the park. Let's look at the usage. Simple present is used to talk about universal facts and generalizations. For example, the earth revolves around the sun. Number 2. It is also used for proverbs and sayings which are believed to be true always. For example, honesty is the best policy. Or, a stitch in time saves 9. Simple present is also used to talk about things we do regularly or general habits and practices. Note, we use present continuous to refer to an activity we are doing at the moment of speaking. It may not be a regular habit. Example, I'm working on my assignment at present. It is something that we are doing right now. So let's look at the examples for present simple, where we talk about things we do regularly or general habits and practices. I travel by bus every day. We live in Hyderabad. Number 4, we also use simple present to talk about a person's profession or abilities at present. For example, Sanya plays tennis. Or, our yoga instructor is a real taskmaster. Number 5. Simple present is used for instructions or directions, usually with words like first, second, later, etc. For example, you take the yellow metro and get off at Roger Chowk. Then take the green line and get off at the Kali Temple stop. Number 6. Simple present is used for commentaries and historic narratives. For example, the batsman hits the ball for a 6. The bowler looks just helpless. Or, on 1st September, Germany invades Poland. On 3rd September, Britain, France, Australia and New Zealand declare war on Germany. Another use of simple present is when we want to talk about events in the future, which are certain to happen. Usually, a word indicating the future time is used. For example, tomorrow, the coming week, etc. The example sentences are, my train leaves at 6 p.m. My wife's birthday falls on a Friday next year. Now let's move on to present continuous. For present continuous, we use am or is or are plus verb plus ing. For example, I am watching TV. We use present continuous to talk about ongoing events at the moment. Note, some English verbs are not used in the continuous tense. For example, it is incorrect to say, I am agreeing with you on this issue. The correct sentence is, I agree with you on this issue. Now, this is so because agree is a state verb. A state verb cannot be used in the continuous tense as a verb. Okay, it could be used as a gerund, meaning when a verb is used as a noun by adding ing to it. Okay, you take a verb, add ing and use it as a noun. That is possible, but otherwise as a verb you cannot use state verbs in the continuous tense. Okay, there are many state verbs. Please look them up. So, the example here for ongoing events at the moment is, they are discussing the matter now. Present continuous is also used for temporary practices. To talk about temporary practices. Note, for regular practices, we use a simple present tense. For temporary practices, examples are, my mother is living with me now, my brother is living with me now, but he will soon move out. Sorry about this squeaking. The next example is, she's working on this project at the moment. Present continuous is also used to talk about gradually changing events. For example, my grandmother is recovering slowly after her surgery. Present continuous is also used to talk about plans and arrangements made for the future, usually words indicating future time. For example, next year, in 2020, etc. Okay? That is if it's the future. Otherwise, you need to use other years. Okay, 2020 will not be applicable always. Right. Example, we are moving to Visakhapatnam next year. Yes, so when we want to talk about future actions, okay, and all the arrangements are made, we use present continuous. Okay, though we are using the present tense, our intention is to talk about a future action. Alright, so we use different tenses to talk about different times. All right? Right. Let's move on to present perfect. For present perfect, we use has or have plus past participle form of the verb. Okay? If it is third person singular, that is if it is he, she or it, then the verb is has, okay, plus past participle. For all the others, it is have plus past participle form of the verb. Okay. Present perfect is used to talk about experiences till date. We often use general time expressions like ever, never, before, in my life, so far, up until now, etc. For example, this is the worst film I have watched so far. Another use of present perfect is to talk about a recently completed event. For example, Nikhil and Nitin have just come back from their trip abroad. Present perfect is also used to talk about an event completed in the past but which has relevance for the present. For example, my friend has lost his identity card. That means he has not yet found it. Note, we use the simple past to describe events completed with no relevance for the present. Another use of present perfect is when we want to talk about a situation that began at a specific time in the past and is still continuing at the moment. We often use the prepositions for to refer to the duration and since to refer to the starting point with time expressions. For example, she has lived in Ranchi for 3 years, or Kiran has been here since 2 p.m. Let's move on to present perfect continuous. For this, we use has been plus verb plus ing where the subject is he, she or it, and have been plus verb plus ing in all other contexts. We use present perfect continuous to talk about an activity that began at a point in the past and is still continuing. For example, she has been writing her autobiography since 2013. We also use present perfect to talk about repeated continuous events. For example, the company has been introducing new models of cars almost every month since 2015. Task 7, page 66. Identify the tense forms of the underlined verbs in these sentences. Please do it and then we will discuss. Pause the video and do it. Number 1. How long have you known Ajay? The tense used here is present perfect. Number 2. I have been cleaning the house all morning. Present perfect continuous. 3. The students are writing their annual exams. Present continuous. 4. We have seen this film already. Present perfect. 5. Kangaroos live in Australia. Present simple. Let's move to task 8 now. Fill in the blanks using the correct present tense form of the verbs given in brackets. Please do the task, then we will discuss. Number 1. Every Sunday, Suma drives her children to the park. 2. This is the best novel that I have read so far. I have read so far. Number 3. You cannot meet any of the faculty members now. They are attending a meeting. 4. Raghu has been studying in Banaras Hindu University for 2 years now. Number 5. Throughout the semester, Reema has been submitting her assignment on time, so her professor appreciated her.